Usually when I go off on vacation with my family, when we go out to the spot we go to, the camp up in Mendocino area, it's beautiful out there. Usually I come back from that type of trip with either some instructions for me to do personally in my own life or instructions what to do in the different ministries that I'm involved in. So this time it was more personal reflection, and I just thought I would share some of it with you guys for a couple minutes. Me and my wife have been watching on Sunday afternoons after we fulfill all of our church obligations for the day. We watch Transformation Church, Tulsa, Oklahoma, with Pastor Michael Todd, and he's been the last few weeks, 6 weeks actually, he's been preaching of this message series called Here is Holy. And so I'm not going to try to preach his message. Few humans could, but I'll just share what it's taught me and what I've taken away from it, and then I really got to really think on these thoughts over the last week while I was away. And so basically what I have learned is that I have to spend a lot more time here rather than mentally occupying my time with there, trying to get there. Like all my life is trying to get to that next rung or that next space or that next financial place, that next ministry place, that next whatever it is. It's always out here. And then that minimizes and it diminishes my capacity to enjoy and maximize where I'm at right here. And so he goes into a lot of different details of that message, and it really hit home to me. And it's just made me really start thinking about that. And while I was away, I just thought about 10 years ago, that's the first thought, is our here is comprised sometimes of yesterday's there. Does that make sense? There was things years ago that I dreamed of. Someday, it'd be awesome if that happened. And a lot of those things have happened. But a lot of times I still get focused on what I don't have, what I haven't done yet, what I haven't accomplished. And I miss a lot of what God has already given me, appreciating it, enjoying it, growing, learning from it. And I purpose to not do that anymore. 10 years ago when it was before I moved to California, I dreamed of a day that I would have a voice. Not that I didn't have a voice in different things, but it wasn't time for me to lead anything yet, But I dreamed of someday having a voice and being able to talk and have my thoughts and people listen to me and then to lead things. And if somebody were to go back to Jamie 10 years ago with a picture of Jamie today, if I would have gone back to myself as wise old Jamie and talked to younger Jamie and say, you know what? There's a day in 2022 when Jamie is a leader at a community church. He's a leader in the community. He has a voice there. The people respect him there. The people listen to him. He's part of the leadership team. He's part of the speaking team. He has a place there, and not just for what he does as a musician. It's a really cool deal. If I would have told myself, young Jamie, back up here in 2022, Jamie lives on 2 acres behind the gate with a studio that was built to do things just like this, that you didn't have to pay for, you didn't have to do anything, you just walked into it and this blessing was there. If I would have gone back to that person 10 years ago and say, you know what, Jamie in 2022 is going to have relationships and partnerships with people like Isaac Perez, Doxa Music Studios, where we exchange each other's resources and we build things together and we help each other. I help his thing, he helps my thing. If I would have said that I would meet people like the Run with Patience guys. And all these years later, we'd be in a band together and we'd travel around together and we'd go to Europe together. And we have these different partnerships, and the partnerships I have in the UK with, Jordan Corbett and Together Church and all of these different things. Even my best friend, Mick Wakefield, the things that we've done together over the years and how we're pushing each other and spurring each other on in the different places that God has us today. Things we do together, things we root for in each other individually. If I would have been told that, I would have thought that person was a liar. That couldn't possibly happen to me. All of that, no way. Maybe one, maybe two of those things, but all of it in its entirety, never. I would have never believed it. But God had all of these things in the works for me without me doing anything to earn it, to deserve it, whatever it is. God, like we sing that song all the time. Even when I don't see it, he's working. He never stops working. But those words are so true. I just did a weekend of ministry with the Run with Patience guy and Joe. We rode down there and rode back together. And on our way back from Mount Hermon, we were talking about this, and we were talking about how we met each other. And so last year, like in present time, Isaac Moreno, a good friend of ours, did last weekend he did a sound engineer consulting thing in Vacaville. Well, he did that same thing last year, and Joe was there. And he got to talking to Isaac, and Isaac told him that, hey, you should talk to Jamie Davis. He lives around this area. I worked with him. You should connect, because he said he needed a drummer. Another guy named Armand lives in Vacaville area, and he's a sound engineer and technician. And over the years with Seventh Day Slumber, when we came out west, his crew would show up and help us set up and tear down, and just a great ministry partner over the years. And he told Joe about me separately from Isaac. And so by the time he got to Isaac, Armand and Isaac were there telling him about me. So he's like, okay, you guys say he's a great drummer, but is he a good person? Is he a nice person? Is he a jerk? Those things that he's accomplished, does that make him think he's all that? I don't have time for that. No, he's a great guy. So he reaches out, and then we start working together. And here we are doing all these different things together. And it's a beautiful thing. But the point I'm trying to make is that God started working on my behalf last year without my knowledge or permission. He was already orchestrating with these two guys that we would come together and partner, and it would fit like a glove effortlessly. And we just fit into each other's lives, into each other's ministries and where we're going without any effort or work. That's God. So God was doing that, and I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to figure it out. I didn't have to put it in place. God did it. So that means that I can really work in the present and be focused on what God's put in my life, in my hands today, and enjoy it today, knowing that God has tomorrow worked out. God has their worked out. The problem is, if I can't appreciate all that God has done for me today, and it's a lot, who says that I'm going to be appreciative if God gives me the other things that I feel I haven't gotten yet? Then I'm just going to be just as frustrated, just as bitter and mad that I don't have this. It's just on and on and on and on and on until I die. So I'm going to end with that. That's what I plan to do from this year on, is to live and appreciate the present. Understand that God has tomorrow worked out. I don't have to figure it out, but I need to appreciate what he's given me. And so that's what I have today. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, you're in this thing with me somehow. So I appreciate that. And we'll talk to you again soon.